to Streams of Income. Hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur, Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Welcome to another episode of Streams of Income, and let's see if I can say it like your podcast. Welcome, Dustin Heiner. So Dustin is with us. He is. I saw you first and heard about you. You spoke in Vincent's group, and the membership stuff you were talking about was amazing. But real estate has always been on my radar and something I've never done aside from Airbnbs and hip camps and stuff. And matter of fact, I was just working on my mind map, and real estate it's on there, but it's got squiggly lines because I haven't done it. And so I've been really looking forward to this, and I even printed out the real estate investing course and read through it. I printed it out so I can make notes and stuff in it. So I'm glad you're here. So we're going to talk real estate, memberships, whatever Dustin gets into, because we share a lot of the same views politically as well. I see the pew behind you on the wall and, and the Bible, and so we're good.
Amen.
So, Dustin, you're a real estate guru, but before we dig into that, what are the streams of income and everything that led to the Dustin we see now?
Wow.
Especially mistakes and stuff.
Yeah, no, I love streams of income. In fact, I have lots, like very, very tremendous streams of income that bring money into my family. But here's the fun thing. They all the streams of income flow into my river of income, which is my real estate investing. It all goes back there. And the reason why is because I make the most money there and I do the least amount of work because I create a business that runs itself. And so I started investing back in 2006, started buying property after property, eventually had enough properties where I didn't have to work anymore. And I started telling people after I quit that I was retired, and they were always wondering, like, what do you do with your time? I said, well, I do plenty. I start businesses. So I created the term successful unemployed. And now I just have great times talking to people like you, great people like you on podcasts, and show people how to invest in real estate. Cause that's my passion, or, my vision for my life is now I don't have to worry about money because of all these streams of income that I have flowing into my river of income, which is my real estate investing. And now I have 40 plus hours of my life back to help now other people to invest in real estate. Yeah,
exactly. And I've been consuming your stuff like crazy, and even started listening to some of, you not only have a podcast, but you have a family of podcasts. And I started subscribing to some of those too.
Awesome. Yeah. So what was really fun? So I started my podcast back in 2015 into 2016. And the whole goal was just to share with people, teach people how to invest in real estate. And as I was building that out, wrote a couple books and, on real estate investing and passive income. And then as I started getting more coaching students, had to have a membership where, we teach people how to invest in real estate. We had a lot of people that are really great investors that wanted to become a part of Master Passive Income, which is the brand that I have that's really showing people how to do this. And now we have, I think, 6 podcasts now that are just other expert investors wanting to help people. And the whole goal is to fulfill my mission in life is to help 1 million people to invest in real estate. So it's just an absolute blast to be able to actually, what it really comes down to, it's that I get to see people's lives change. When I bought my first property, it was a really good accomplishment. Accomplished a great thing and then bought more properties and eventually quit my job. Another great accomplishment. But I didn't feel fulfilled. I felt like I needed another win. I needed more accomplishments. When I helped my first student to buy their first property, that's when I felt fulfilled. I felt like, man, I helped another human being get what they wanted most in life. And praise the Lord, I want to do that over and over and over again because I have extra time. And now it's just so much fun to do it.
That's amazing. And so as far as helping that many people, it's one thing to write a book, then to coach, and then to start a membership. But you've started conferences even. And RubeCon, I've not been to one yet. And it sounds like fun though.
Yes, it's the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference. And the reason why I did it was not because I was trying to force something. It was because my students, we got hundreds, if not thousands of students now teaching them how to invest in real estate, that we're all friends online. They said, hey, we want to get together. We want to, have an in-person thing. And so in 2022, started the Real Estate Wealth Builders Conference, bringing people together. I'm definitely an extrovert personality, so that really is fun for me to be a part of that. And we've been doing that 3 or 4 years now, and just, Lord willing, every single year, an annual thing that we're going to keep doing. And over time, we see more and more people become so much more successful in real estate because we have all these different things that are going to help them, connecting with other people, getting with other experts, helping themselves, helping other people so that they get better in their own. So everything is a means to an end to help them to invest in real estate and get passive income. And I love what you're all about is getting passive income because let me share. Do you mind if I share a quick story of what really got me into investing in real estate?
Fire away with whatever you got.
Awesome. So what was really interesting is we're all taught to go to work. And this is what I was taught. And we're all taught this. So we go to school and we get good grades. And then we take those good grades and then we go to college and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or, lots and lots of money, get into lots of debt, and then get a piece of paper called a degree. And then you go around to other companies and you hopefully try to find a job, a career, and work 40 plus years of your life and then try to retire on 40% of what you managed to save that entire time. So I'm following that exact same path. In fact, I got the most stable, secure job you could ever think of. I was doing technology or IT work in the local county government in California. So technology is not going away. Government's not going away. And California is not going away anytime soon. Yeah. So most stable, secure job. But at the same time, I bought one rental property and I realized that property made me money. That was passive income over and over and over again. And I knew I needed to be a real estate investor, like focus full time. But you know what happens, David? Life starts getting in the way. My wife and I started having child after child, work and business and everything just kept going and going. Well, I stopped investing, but here's what really shoved me to be an investor. So my wife had our 4th child. And I went on paternity leave. That's where the dad stays home with the mom, changes poopy diapers and all that good stuff, bonds with the baby. And so after about 2 weeks, I go back to work. And in that same week that I go back to work on a Friday at 3:30 in the afternoon, I get a call from my boss's secretary, like the top dog. And she says, Dustin, would you please come to the office? I said, sure. And I hung up the phone and I paused for a second. I thought, why in the world are they calling me the office? Like, this isn't normal. And I've seen plenty of movies. Friday at 3:30 in the afternoon is not a good time to be called to the main boss's office. So I started thinking about a couple months before I went on paternity leave, there were some rumors that there was trouble in the economy as well as in the government not having enough revenue to pay for, there might be layoffs. Mm-hmm. I immediately shook it off. I said, there's no way. I've got so much seniority. My boss is saying I do a great job. I get raises all the time. No way. So I get up and I go down the hallway to my boss's office. And this hallway isn't very long. In fact, it's kind of short. But every single step I took, it felt like the hallway got longer and longer and longer. And it felt like my feet became lead bricks because every step started weighing on me more and more that I might lose my job. Well, I get down the hallway and I turn the corner and I see my boss's door. His door's closed and I see his secretary there. Super sweet, nice old lady. And she says, Dustin, would you please have a seat? And kind of sheepishly grinning at me, trying to console me with her eyes because she knows everything about what's going on. I know nothing about what's going on. So I go and I take my seat and I start thinking about my life. If I lose my job right now, oh my goodness, I just literally worked this entire plan that I was taught by other people. Did I just waste my life doing this? And we just had our 4th child. If I can't feed my family, does that make me a failure as a father? Does that make me a failure as a husband, as a man trying to provide for his family? So as I'm sitting there, my hands get all clammy, my forehead gets all sweaty because the nerves are just crushing me. Well, the door to my boss's office opens up and out walks a coworker of mine with a piece of paper in her hands. She's noticeably distraught, noticeably upset, not necessarily crying, but you could tell her world has been rocked. Well, she passes by me and my boss says, Dustin, would you please come in the office? So I get up and I go on into his office and I get laid off. And this is the government. Nobody gets fired or laid off from the government, but I did. And this is the reason why I tell the story. I realized 2 things there. So I went back to my desk and I sat down, and in realizing these 2 things, I needed to make sure that this never, ever happens to me again. I didn't make sure that nobody could take away my ability to feed my family. So right then, the first thing I realized was I need to get another job. I need to find another way to provide for my family. So I was really blessed, praise the Lord, to find another job in the same county, another department, wasn't having issues. Check. Then sitting in my chair, just getting laid off, the second thing I realized, and this is the reason why I tell the story, I need to make sure that this never happens to me again. So right there, I realized I was putting my life on hold. I knew I needed to be an investor, but I just kept on letting my life get ahead of me. So right then and there, I said, no longer will, whenever anybody asks me the question, Dustin, what do you do? You get that question all the time. I would reply with my job. I work for a technology doing the government work, but I am projecting out to the world that my value that I put on myself comes from my job. No, I realized my value doesn't come from my job. It comes from my God and from myself and from my family. So right then and there, I told everybody from that point forward that I am now an investor. Now, it may so happen that 100% of my money comes from my job. That's now my part-time job. I am a full-time investor. So fast forward the story, started buying property after property after property, each one making me $250 to $300 or $400, $500 a month in passive income. And after 30 plus properties, I realized, my goodness, I'm wasting my life and time working here. So last part of the story, I went to my new boss, great boss and all. After another couple of years of buying real estate, I said, hey, boss, I'm laying you off. Here's your layoff notice. And, we both laughed. And he says, Dustin, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't have to do anything. I own real estate that makes me money without working. And everybody listen to this. I need you to realize this. You need to realize that you will never be paid what you're worth. And you are worth so much more than anybody could ever pay you, because you'll realize this. Your boss is paying you just enough to keep you working without quitting, but not so much money it takes money out of their pocket. If they paid you what you're worth, they'd go broke. So the quick last part of the story, every day I would walk to and from work, 1.5 miles every single day to and from work, because I worked in downtown, too frugal to pay for parking. Well, this last time I felt like I was walking on clouds, because I knew I would never, ever need a job again, because now everything is the value that I put in to my life. And now I have 40 plus hours of my life back to build businesses, create passive income, buy more real estate, and now help people. So I'll pause the story because you probably got plenty of questions.
No, I mean, that's amazing. And that's one of your stories I haven't heard yet either. As long as I've been listening to you, I haven't heard that one yet. Man, listening to you, I've read all the main books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, 1 Minute Millionaire, and they're all so general. And one of the things I really like about your podcast is I could listen to your podcast and actually have a strategy, or your free, I'm pimp that out again, the real estate investing course, which was free. I've got a strategy. I mean, I know I still need to sign up for coaching in the mastermind, but I could take this and start buying properties right away. I mean, there's information there for me. That was pretty
I love
neat
it.
to do that.
What's so much fun is all these ways, like the podcast to my free course to the books that I literally give away books, to the YouTube channel, like everything I give away, people literally start investing just from each one of those. Like people will just take the free course and they'll be able to invest. I've had people share with me that listening to my podcast helped them to invest just from the podcast alone. And I guess it's because this is how I think. I literally think step by step. And whenever I need something to do, I create a step-by-step for me to do it. And then I put it out there for everybody out there. Now, people absolutely can utilize every single one of my free things, because that's my end goal, is to help people to invest. Now, if they want more hand-holding, if they want like a step-by-step, if they want coaching, whatever, we're going to be there for them. Not everybody needs coaching, but at the same time, if they did, we have it for them, because every single time that somebody came to me and I saw that there was something missing in either the coaching or the books or the podcast, I would implement that. And because now, after almost thousands of students now, we see that we literally have a roadmap that everybody can go on that can basically play Monopoly. Most people have seen Monopoly or play Monopoly, but you start small with small deals. And then you move up to larger or medium-sized deals, get a little bigger deals, and then you get up to large deals like hotels and apartment complexes. That's the entire path in a nutshell of what we try to do. But it all starts when you buy your first property, and your first property making you passive income. And if you do it right, don't do it wrong. The wrong way is what I did when I first started in 2006. And we can get into that. I could definitely share how you did it wrong, how I did it wrong, and how you can do it right. But when you first get started, you need to build the business just like you would any other business so that it can run itself. And then, because you have a business that runs itself, means you hire the right experts in your area that you're investing. We invest all over the country. I invest in Ohio, Texas, Arizona, Tennessee, and Missouri. No, Indiana, not Missouri. And so I invest in all these different states, but I don't do any of the work. I have other people do all that work. But all this is just a means to an end of helping 1 million people to invest in real estate.
Yeah, that's good advice for any industry too, because my dad's got a remodeling company and he started it. But you know how family businesses are. He started it, and 40 years in, the business cannot run without him being there 60 hours a week. And that's just the way he built it. And I've seen it wear him out. And he's like in his mid 70s and still working a full work week with the young guys. And it's amazing that he's able to do it, but he shouldn't have to.
He shouldn't have to. Well, if you do it the right way, just like with real estate investing, you eventually make it so that you are not even in the business doing anything. Let me give you a quick example. So when I first got started, I was following all those quote unquote gurus. In fact, in 2006, when I first started investing, I was watching late night TV because that's what you do when you work a job. You just always watch TV and then go to work and watch TV and go to work. And so late night infomercial came on. This guru said, "Hey, we're coming to your town, free 2-hour seminar." So it's great. I went to that 2-hour seminar. It was horrible. It was all hype, all sales pitch. And then they said, "Now run to the back. It's normally $1 million, but it's $1,000 a day for this 2-day seminar." So I ran to the back. I was so excited. I paid that $1,000. This 2-day seminar was all horrible it was a sales pitch for like a $60,000 course for this, an $80,000 course for that. Well, I didn't have that money, but I took what little they taught me and I bought my first property. And I kid you not, David, the first property, in about 6 months, my property manager started stealing from me because I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't build the business first. That's the wrong way to do it. In fact, like your dad, I have lots of people come to me and say, "Dustin, I'm a mom and pop investor. I have 1 or 2 properties, maybe 3 or 4 properties. And I am working so much. I'm managing my properties. I'm fixing this. I'm doing all that." And sadly, this is what happens when people get started without having the end in mind first, of having a business that runs itself. So now what I do is I teach people, what we do is we build a business, find the experts that are going to make the business run, and then we put inventory in the business. Let me give you a quick example of what that looks like. So for people who are looking to invest in real estate, let's say you're going to start a convenience store, candy bars and soda machines and all that good stuff. Well, you would not sign a lease on a location, open the doors, and set a box of candy bars in there on the ground. No, you wouldn't do that. What you would do is you would build the business first. You get the gondolas. Those are the shelving units that all the candy bars go on. You get the countertops, cold storage, bank accounts, cash registers, insurance, employees, everything in the business before you buy any inventory. Same thing with real estate investing. You build the entire business and then you buy a house, and that house is your inventory. You need to view it as an inventory. It's not someplace you would live in, but other people will. And so when you do it the right way, you hire the right property managers, experts that live there and work there on the ground all the time. Property managers, realtors, inspectors, plumbers, roofers, insurance agents, mortgage brokers. You get all these people and they do the work for you because you've done all that before you bought the property. Let me give you a quick example. Last thing I'll say, because I know you probably got some questions. So I get those mom and pop people coming to me and say, "Hey, Dustin, I'm working a ton because I can't afford a property manager, or I bought a house and I can't find a property manager. I call up property managers and they tell me that they will not manage a property because they'll get shot there." It's like, "Oh, well, you don't have an asset." Yeah, you now have a liability, sadly. But what we do, instead of buying a house and then finding a property manager, then, what we do is we build the business. And instead of calling property manager, "Hey, property manager, I bought a house. Will you manage it?" And they say, "No, I'll get shot." Instead, you say, "Property manager, I'm looking to buy this house. How much will it rent for? How much, what's the vacancy factor? How often will it be vacant? What's the clientele like? Will you manage the property? How much I could rent it?" All these different things. And if they tell you, "No, I won't manage it," then you don't waste your time and money and effort buying it. But if they tell you, "Yes, I will manage it. This is how much you could rent it for. This is the type of clientele," and you'll know that you're going to have great experts. When a property manager comes back and says, this happens to me all the time because my property managers, they do a lot of work all around. They'll say, you know what? I know that street. In fact, we have a house, the street next to it. And we were trying, Zillow was telling us we can get $1,400. We tried to get $1,400. We couldn't get $1,400. We max we can get was $1,250. Well, that's expert information. If you buy a house thinking I could rent it for $1,400 because Zillow says it, but you can only get $1,250, well, you need to know that, because just like any business, you need to make sure that you're making money every single month from every single property. That's how I feed my family. That's the passive income that we make from every property.
Yeah, that's good advice. And it almost sounds way too logical. It's way too common sense. That's why you get paid to teach that, and people aren't doing it just on their own. All right, let's get a little controversial. So I got debt free through Dave Ramsey. And now I'm back a little bit of debt, but still got a mortgage. But a lot of Christians listen to this podcast just because of the circles I run in. And so Dave Ramsey is like, no debt. And it's easy for Dave Ramsey to buy a bunch of houses and pay cash for them because he's got a multi-million-dollar product paying for that. So how do you see, good debt, bad debt? What's your point of view or anti-Ramsey take on that?
So everybody should start with the Dave Ramsey direction, learning about debt and how debt can crush you. Because if you don't go that route first, it will literally crush you. So I personally believe, and everybody's risk tolerance, everybody's trajectory is going to be different. But here, if I was going to give anybody advice, it would be, number one, you learn how to not get into debt. If you're in debt, you learn how to get out of debt very, very fast. Number two, you learn how to save your money. So don't go into debt and save money. Number three, we then
you're way too common sense again, man.
Then we learn how to invest our money. So when I'm thinking of Dave Ramsey, Robert Kiyosaki, I love them both. They're both great. I'll be completely honest and say that about 75% of the population should just follow Dave Ramsey and not go into debt. They don't have the fortitude or the entrepreneurial spirit or the investing, like the ideas that they don't want to invest. Maybe they just want to be an employee, which is totally fine. I love my employees. They love working for me. I pay them well, but I don't have to work because they're working. Yeah. So I'd say 75% of people should just follow Dave Ramsey, but the 25% that are listening to your show, they should learn that, take those, incorporate them into their lives so they don't go into debt, that they can save and invest. And then my suggestion is with your risk tolerance too, meaning, are you more risky? I'm very risk, what's the word? I can take lots of risks. My wife is the opposite, 100% opposite. Her dad was a teacher, mom was a stay-at-home mom. So they hate risk whatsoever. And so to buy that first property took a lot of effort, me helping her to realize everything. But we use debt now that we don't go into debt. In fact, only debt that we ever use is that makes us money. We don't use debt to buy something that loses us money, like a car. Why would I get a loan on a car that's just going to be losing me money? But here's a creative way to do it. If I have $50,000 to buy a car or buy a house that's going to be making me money, if I take that $50,000 and follow Dave Ramsey and just put it into the car, well, then great. I don't have a car payment, but I'm not making money. Instead, what I do is I get a loan on that car, save that $50,000, then buy, let's say I take $20,000 of it to buy a house that then pays for that car payment. And once that car is paid off, I have the house and the car, and I have extra money that can buy more properties. This is just scratching the surface of being creative in using your financing. Let me give you one more quick one, David. So I have a student of mine, his name's Benjamin, pastor up in Sacramento, didn't have any money. Pastors don't make any money. So the only thing that he did have was a house and a desire to invest in real estate. So man,
I listened to this video just the other day. Tell the story though, because everybody else didn't see the video, but I just listened to it a couple of days ago.
Love it. Love it. So I'm coaching him. We're trying to figure out, because he knows eventually he's not going to be a pastor because, as you get older, he just wants to be able to retire. So he has a house he bought 5 years ago. He had plenty of equity in it, didn't have anything else. I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get a home equity line of credit. And he got a home equity line of credit, HELOC, and had $200,000 that he can tap into his property. Now, with a HELOC, only when you pull the cash out do you actually pay interest on it. So he got the HELOC. That's called access to capital, meaning he has the ability to use money to buy a house. Then he took that HELOC and then bought a house in Atlanta, Georgia. And then now that property doesn't have a loan on it because it's tied to his primary residence. Then after getting it fixed up and getting it rented, then he cashed out that Atlanta property, took the cash out, got to refinance it, pulled that cash back out and paid off his home equity line of credit. So he has his whole equity line of credit paid off. He actually put, I think like maybe $10,000 into his pocket because it's a tax-free loan. The government doesn't tax your loans. So he got a refinance on that Atlanta property, pulled cash out, put $10,000 in his pocket, paid off his home equity line of credit, and has this now house with none of his own money in the deal. And he now has that home equity line of credit to buy the next one and do it over and over again. This is just scratching the surface of creative financing ways. Most people don't have a lot of money to invest in real estate. In fact, one of the myths that most people believe is that you need a lot of money to invest in real estate. I kid you not, no, you don't. Now, it's harder if you don't have any money, but I've literally counted 16 different ways that I've used to get financing. Let me quickly go through just a couple of them. Like private money, borrowing from somebody else, hard money lender. That's a short-term loan, conventional loan, FHA loan. If you're a military veteran, you better be using that VA loan to invest. It's fantastic. You can get a bundled loan, a portfolio loan, a signature loan. And kid you not, David, I've literally used credit cards to buy real estate because, well, here's the thing. People might be thinking, remember the Dave Ramsey and the Robert Kiyosaki type of idea about debt. I knew that my cost for that money, if I got a credit card, was X dollars. If I pull that cash out, that's my payment that I have to make sure I pay. Well, then I take that credit card, I bought a house, and I knew because it's my business, I know how much I could rent it for. I know how much my expenses are, that I knew that that house will now pay off my credit card. And so I borrowed that money, bought the house. That house paid me money that I paid off the credit card. After a couple of years, that credit card's gone. I still now have the house. This is just creative ways to use financing. And it really just crushes the myth that you need a lot of money to invest in real estate. What you really need, though, is options. Like you need to know what's out there before you even try, because if you don't, you might get stuck. That's why I love coaching. I love just giving all the stuff away. It's like, here's all the options. You can absolutely do it.
Oh, yeah. And that story really piqued my interest because I know you were on the Entre Pastors show here a while back and some other friends of ours. And I mean, pastoring, that story piqued my interest because pastoring is a dangerous occupation. Considering how holy it is, all you need is a board of deacons to come in one day and you're laid off. And it doesn't matter how good a job you did preaching or anything else. And but the HELOC, that's probably going to be the route I end up taking to get my first one because I mean, I'm in upstate South Carolina. We bought a house real cheap because it's on a private road. It's got 5 acres. We got it cheap because nobody else wanted it. I wanted it because I'm surrounded by redneck neighbors with guns, and nobody's going to come up here and bother me. And but I mean, it's the value of my house has gone up crazy, and we got it at a low rate too, right after COVID. So I mean, that's the route I'm probably going to go.
Well, it's a fantastic route. I personally, on my primary residence, my wife's risk tolerance, she wants our primary residence to have no mortgage on it. Like, okay, babe, that's fine. Even though I'd love to use that money to buy more properties. But what I did get her to agree on, we have a home equity line of credit of like $250,000 on my primary residence, even though I don't have a mortgage on it. I have that $250,000. That's a access to capital that I can tap into. I can use that 250, go buy a house, get it fixed up, get it rented, and then refinance it, pull the cash out, pay off my home equity line of credit. There's just so many ways to do it. So if anybody thinking, oh man, I don't have the money, money is not the problem. Money's not the issue. It's more options, and we can help you get around that.
Yeah, that was my next question is there's probably going to be a lot of people hearing all this and they're saying, well, that sounds easy for you to say, but hard for me to do. But that's what you guys teach and handle in the membership, right? Like
absolutely,
somebody needs hand holding, that's what you can help with. Yeah, that's perfect.
And so everybody has different needs. You know, somebody might just need, hey, just give me the steps. I don't need coaching. I just need the step. I'm a doer. I'm going to get it done. Well, I get people all the time that just, get into the course and then they invest in real estate, which is great. But then there are other people here. I just need a couple questions answered here and there. That's what I need. And so we have group coaching. That's the membership where they can come in. That's the fast track way to actually get them the answers, get them past. And also one of the great thing about having a community now with all the members that I have is we now have so many people that have so many successes and wins that people get, oh, it is possible. I saw Billy or Bob, or just everybody's doing it. I could do it too. And then we also have the one-on-one coaching. There are people that say, you know what? I want it even faster. Well, we have literally coaches that were students. Here's the great thing, David. I don't just go out and hire people. These are students that say, Dustin, I'm financially independent now, and I want to help. I see the vision of you helping people. I love it. I want to be a part of it. So now we have students now are coaching, and it's just great because now everybody is just helping. But that's by far the fast track is the one-on-one coaching. But now everybody needs that. Everybody has the ability from, coaching all the way, just do it yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Amazing. And all right. So kind of shifting topics a little bit. I see you on Instagram in the gym. I see you playing with guns, everything else. So how about tell us a little bit the importance of just being well-rounded, well-balanced? I mean, because I don't know, I like to exercise a lot just because I enjoy it. I mean, I got kettlebells out on the front porch and all that. But so many people, I don't know, fitness and health gets in the way of any kind of a good life. And so why do you do all that? What's the importance of it to you?
So let me answer this in two different ways. So the first one, in answering the direction that you're going with it, being if you're not healthy, if you're not getting stronger, if you're not just saying like physically, like getting big, but like if you're not progressing, we're always dying. Like that's just the curse of the fall. We're always, degrading. And here's the amazing thing. So doctors know when somebody's going to die by their blood oxygen level. And as it decreases, they'll say, hey, it looks like you have maybe a month left, 2 months left. Just as you decrease in oxygen, the worse it gets. Well, where does your oxygen get to your body? It comes through your blood. So you need to breathe and you also need blood. Well, where does your blood come from? Your blood comes from your bone marrow. That's where blood is made. Well, your bones need to be strong. The way to get them stronger is to have muscle. Muscle and strength helps you to breathe harder. All this combined for me is like, this is how you live longer. When you stop doing the things that you did as a kid, meaning you were always running around, playing, doing all the, sports or whatever. As soon as you get older and you stop doing that stuff, then you start really declining. So I love exercising. So that's the direction, 100%. If you want to live longer, then you need to exercise. But let me answer it in a little different way. Also, you need to exercise, but at the same time, you need to provide for yourself and your family, especially men. Like we need to provide. So here's what I would do. I would literally think about like a work-life balance. People say, oh, you need to have work-life balance. Make sure you're playing with your kids, you're doing this, you're exercising, all that sort of stuff. I literally don't believe in work-life balance, especially when you are trying to get to financial freedom or financial independence. I work my tail off. In fact, I'll say it this way. If I needed to sweep the streets in order to make money to provide for my family, and I had to work 20 hours a day and only sleep for 4 hours a day and never see my family, that's what I would do because I'm a Christ follower. I'm a man. I provide for my family. But with that, I'm now blessed in America. We have many opportunities to make money. Here's what I did. So for the longest time when I was working that job, I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I would go to the gym from 5 to 6. Then at 6:30, I would go to my business. I had a convenience store, open a business. And then once that's running with the employees, I would go to work for 8, 9 plus hours. And then I go back to my business, close down the business, get home around 7 o'clock, eat dinner, hug the wife and kids and go to bed and do it over and over again. I did that literally for like 5 or 6 years straight because I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I knew that by having that job, making more money, not even caring about work-life balance, I now was able to have that job, saved money, got out of debt, invested money, and I knew that in the future, now I have 30 plus, I have lots of properties. So I have 30 plus single family homes, Airbnb, midterm properties, long-term. I have hotels, just bought a 355 unit apartment complex. I have all these investments now, but it's because I worked my tail off for 5 years. And I love what Dave Ramsey says. You live like no one else now. So in the future, you can live like no one else. Now I literally just go to I went to the gym for 2 hours a day because I can. And then I come on podcasts, talk to great people like you, hang out with the family. I don't have to do anything because I have these businesses that now run themselves. So hopefully that helps people to realize definitely you better take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not gonna be able to take care of your family. But number two, you have to have the end. Like I love the idea or the term delayed gratification. And we know in the Bible, you have the fruit of the spirit. Well, the last one is self-control, because you have to have self-control to do all the other ones too. But self-control, somebody asked me the other day, do you believe in self-care or self-love? I said, I don't. I believe in self-control. That's what I believe in. We have self-control so that we forego the things that would be great now for the delayed gratification, what's going to come in the future. So long-winded answer. I agree with you.
No, it's perfect. And the thing is, though, I mean, you do it for all those reasons, but I see you still challenging yourself. It's not like you lift weights to maintain. Because I saw you the other day doing an overhead squat, and I mean, it's just I was really excited to see that this dude doesn't just go to the gym. He's always trying new things. He's trying more weight, and part of that's failing sometimes. And yeah,
you're 100% right. And
part of life.
So I love competing. And I learned this from CrossFit. Sorry, take that back. I played football all high school growing up. I've even played in college D1 level football, running back. And so I'm always competitive, very, very competitive. And with that competition, that helped me get better and progress. Now, when I do Olympic lifting, snatch, and clean and jerk, overhead squats, all that sort of stuff, it's because now I get better, I feel better, but I'm also competing against my old self. What did I do 6 months ago? Oh, that's what I hit. I got to beat myself there, because as long as we're constantly growing, we're going to get better. And there's one movie quote I love. I love lots of movies, like movie quotes. But so Tommy Boy was a great movie a long time ago. The dad of the main character, he's talking about auto parts business. And I think this is true. He says, I think it's true of everything. But he says, in the auto parts business, you're either growing or you're dying. There's no third direction. I believe in every part of life, you're either going to be growing or you're going to be dying, because there's no just plateauing and just staying there. You're either going to grow or you're going to die. And eventually you're going to die. We all know that 100% of the people die.
Yep. I mean, it's science, thermodynamics. I mean, it's all going to fail at some point. All right. So before I forget, where do you want me to send people to find you?
Absolutely. So if anybody, do you mind if I give them my free course that they can
use? Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. So I know you're probably listening on podcast, but the fastest way to get it is if you text the word rental, RENTAL, rental to 33777. Rental to 33777. I'll literally give you my real estate investing course completely for free. Then you can also go to Master Passive Income, masterpassiveincome.com/free course if you can't get it there on the texting, but masterpassiveincome.com/free course. I'll literally show you how to find an area anywhere in the country to invest out of state, how to make sure that you're building the business, making sure you're making money every single month. You can even find me on my podcast, the Master Passive Income Podcast, literally just me giving out how to invest in real estate, as well as, Instagram. I actually been starting, having fun on Instagram, DMing people reach out to me. So if you want to find me, reach out to me, DM me on Instagram, the Dustin Heiner, THE Dustin Heiner. And David, no, I'm not that arrogant being the one, but it's the only handle I could come up with.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't always have choices. I mean, the old days, my old AOL email address, had to take what I got,
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So last question, and I'll let you go. So I think I know the answer, but I always like to ask everybody about their dream stream of income. So if money wasn't the issue and you could do one thing for the rest of your life, and you knew you had to do that one thing, is real estate what you would do, or is there something else that like you would just this dream you always wanted to be in the circus or something? I don't know, but what's your dream stream that you would do?
So I'll give you two, meaning the one that absolutely it's real estate by far. I mean, I literally don't work. In fact, people have heard of the book, The 4-Hour Work Week. The 4-Hour Work Week is a good book. The premise is try to make your life so you only have to work 4 hours a week. Well, I think working 4 hours a week is for suckers. I don't want to work 4 hours a week. I don't even want to work 4 hours a month. I maybe work 30 minutes a month on all my properties because I have experts doing the work. So that's the first thing is real estate. It affords me to do anything in my life. Now, with real estate, though, if I didn't have real estate and there was one job that I would do, honestly, I would be a butcher. I would be a butcher. And here's how I realized that.
I did not
love
expect
hunting.
that.
Yeah, I know. Funny, huh? So I love processing meat. So I'm a hunter. In fact, this weekend, taking my boys, we're going to go elk hunting up in Arizona near Flagstaff. And I realized when I first took my first deer, harvested it, I love the processing. I don't give my game to somebody else and have them process it. I love the processing. So if there was a job that I would do, I would probably be a butcher.
Yeah. I'm picturing you like, Daniel Day-Lewis from Gangs of New York. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but
I have, yeah.
But no, my 13-year-old, I've got a neighbor that goes hunting all the time, and his teenager won't help him process deer. And so he called me and he said, send your son up and he can help me process this thing. And my son went up and helps him cut it, grind it, everything. Comes back home with bags of deer. I mean, so I'm happy to send him. And I mean, yeah,
awesome.
it's a neat process. Yeah, well, that's cool. I was not expecting that answer at all, but that's a really cool one. All right, so I'll tell you what, before we go, anything I've missed or anything that, maybe I didn't think to ask, but you want to make sure everybody hears or?
So yes, if anybody's going to get started investing in real estate, I mean, I can't stress this enough. And I've said it many, many times, but we need to build the business. We don't just buy a property and hope that it makes money for us, because I feed my family on the passive income that these properties make. So my properties, we try to shoot for a minimum. This is the bare minimum of $250 a month in passive income. Okay. Some of my properties make me $500, $600, even $1,000 a month in passive income because I've owned them over time. Rents just go up and mortgages go away. And so if you're going to be buying properties, you need to make sure you're making passive income. So you buy one property that makes you $250 a month. Well, in a year, that's $3,000 extra passive income. Well, if you wanted to become financially independent, you just scale it up from there. 10 properties is $2,500 a month, $30,000 a year without working. 20 properties is $5,000 a month. That's $60,000 a year. And remember, that's a minimum. Now I have 30 plus properties, hotels, and apartment complexes. I literally don't have to work. So if you're going to be doing this, if you're going to be investing in real estate, make sure you're making money every single month. You do not start a business to lose money. You're making money every single month, and then create a business that has other people doing all the work for you.
Yeah. And man, without a lot of stupid debt, just about anywhere in the country, $5,000 a month is good money. I mean, most people with some common sense could live on that really easy.
Even me. So I mean, honestly, I make a lot of money, but I save 90% of what I make. I mean, I still literally live in a 1,250 square foot house with 5 kids and my wife, because we don't really need much more. Now, my wife would like a bigger one, which we are in the process of getting. Fast forward. I literally save 90% because I started thinking, you know what I could do? As I read the Bible, children are a blessing from the Lord, and a man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I'm working towards. I don't need to spend all this money. I'm blessed to be able to serve the Lord in every my time as well as money. But at the same time, now I can literally give all this to my kids as well in generational wealth, teaching them. In fact, my oldest daughter, she's 16. My boy is now 15. Before each one of them hit 17, our goal is to have them buy their first property. And I teach them how to do it, help them, obviously, all the process. But I want them to have their first property so that they hopefully are going to start growing that. By the time, if they buy one house a year for 5 years, that's 5 houses. They're probably going to be making a good maybe $2,000, $3,000 a month in passive income. So that's what I want people to realize. If you're going to start a business, you're going to invest in real estate, start a business, create passive income.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, there's no debt. You don't no need for college. I mean, most people inherit generational debt instead of generational wealth. And I love that. So everybody that's listening to this or watching on YouTube, be sure to check out. I'll put the links in the show notes. And Dustin's a pretty cool guy, so you need to check out all his stuff and follow him on Instagram. And you need to get in the gym too, all of you, and start trying to do it. You don't have to do the weight Dustin's doing, but you need to start doing some of the movements. Well, Dustin, thanks for coming on, and I'll let you go in because I know for an unemployed guy, you are pretty busy, but with what you want to do, not what you have to do. And
absolutely, Dave. Thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the after show snippets. Little extras, little things not related to the interview, not necessarily related to the person, but things that I want to get across, things people have asked me, whatever. It's an extra. It's a bonus for you. I hope you're still here. And so I want to talk a little bit about industry magazines. Now, this is something I'm betting there's some amazing people in the audience here. I'm betting a bunch of you already take advantage of this, but in case you don't, industry magazines. So whatever industry you're in, there's probably an association, a marketing agency, something like that, that produces and publishes an absolutely free print magazine for your industry. Now, I grew up in the construction industry. My dad owns a remodeling company that he's owned for about 40 years now. I grew up working there. I managed it for him. I still do a lot of the work for him through my VA with the social media, with the website, things like that. And so I know construction. Now, here's another thing, though. Another neat reason that I like construction industry magazines, and let's go ahead and show you an example. Qualified Remodel. Now, whenever you see this might be an old issue. This is the September 2024. Sometimes it takes me a little while to get to reading them because magazines stack up, because I get a lot of magazines from different industries. And so a second reason, though, I like still getting these construction magazines. Number one, I grew up in it. I actually still hold a general contractor's license. Talk about streams of income. I don't do anything with construction these days, but I still hold a general contractor's license for the state of South Carolina. And I use that for certain things. We can talk about that later. That would actually be a source for a whole different podcast. What can you do with a building license, even if you're not hands-on with the hammer? But Qualified Remodeler Magazine. Here's one of the reasons why I like getting industry magazines is because it gives me tons of ideas. You see, I still do some coaching and consulting with small businesses in various industries. Because of my history and my experience, a lot of them end up being construction companies. And so I like to read this magazine and others. I get several. And it gives me new ideas. It lets me know what's going on in the market. And a little selfish, though, is I'm building the plans for my own dream house. And so when new products and these cool remodel pictures, I mean, this is a little too ultra modern for me, but I could get some neat ideas from this, like the wraparound porch part of it, the glass railing. See, I'm looking at it now, just getting some neat ideas. And so, I'm putting together plans for my own dream house, and I get ideas for that. I get a pool and spa installer magazine that comes to me. I get magazines from, Firehouse is a really good one for the fire departments. I still get EMS magazines from when I used to be involved in EMS. And so it's pretty cool. And it's a great way to get new information, things like that. And so go online and search. I would just Google up industry trade publications for insert whatever industry you're looking for. I've gotten them before from, beverages, coffee, food. I'm trying to think of all the different things. I get them for just about every industry imaginable. That's why the magazines stack up in my pile. So let me show you just a couple of things with this one in particular. And if you're listening to this, you can still get tons of info from this, but the YouTube version is always pretty cool too. And that way, if you want to see what I'm talking about. So like I said, new products, new companies. That's a new shower company there. I get lots of neat marketing ideas for the companies I consult with. And like right here, existing home sales rise and driving remodeling. And so I get some ideas for that. And so it's really awesome. It's a neat way to get free, up-to-date ideas, things for the picture file. Like, look at this right here. I really like those steel doors right there. They have like an older, kind of a traditional historic look to them, but those are interior doors. And so that's an idea that's going into the books for my own house. But look at this. I still consult because of what my dad did. I consult with exterior remodeling companies, and that is actually a folding glass wall. It's an entire wall of folding glass doors. Thought that was pretty cool. And then I pulled this one out actually for my dad. My dad, like I said, does exterior remodeling, and this is a new, or maybe not completely new, but it's a railing company. And so I'm going to scan that in and send it over to him, and it might be something he wants to check out, a new product he can offer. And then I get lots and lots of professional advice. This guy, Sean McCadden, he's pretty awesome. He's been a columnist in this Qualified Remodeler magazine for forever. Matter of fact, I'll reach out to him and maybe get him on a podcast. But SeanMcCadden.com, let me show you so you can see if you can. Well, there we go. If you can see that at the bottom, and that way you can find his website. I'll pop it in the show notes, and because if you try to spell Sean McCadden on your own, you're probably going to get it wrong. If I was him, I would buy like the domains for every possible misspelling of his name, and that way all those domains point right to him. But this is something that I thought I circled in this one because I also kept the article for some more information, is you must decide how you will do business before you offer your services. You heard Dustin Heiner speak about real estate, and one of the main key things that he zeroed in on, and that's why I'm putting this little after show snippet after his interview, is because one of the key things he focused on with real estate, which as you can see is also amazing advice for construction or just about any other industry you could possibly think of, is to decide how you want to do business before you start trying to sell the business. Too many people try to just start selling something and have no idea what they're going to do. They have no idea how they're going to get the next inventory, how they're going to make the next sale, what they're going to do. So set up the business. I'm not saying you have to do a 40-page business plan or all that mess, because I know how some of you are. You're going to get stuck doing that 40-page business plan and never start the business. Or, you know, it's kind of like a lot of people that write books and things like that. They'll write a synopsis and never write the book. They'll dream about things like me with my house. I could draw up plans all day long and never do anything. And so don't get caught up in the planning, but build the business before you start the business. Great advice. And I hope you really listened to that on Dustin's interview previous. But this after show snippet, industry trade magazines, they're almost always completely free. And you just go online, find them, find the website, register for it, and I promise that you will find some amazing stuff in there that will help you in the business you're building or in the businesses that you help. Hope you all enjoyed.